All right, so I'm calling the meeting of the Sanborn Regional School Board to order at 6:30 p.m. Stand for pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, as soon as I sign these manifest documents, I will start sending them around. So it looks like we have first public comment up next. If anyone would like to speak?
Dan is not rushing the mic.
No, I know. It's all right. Okay. All right. Seminary closing resolution signature.
I'll start off. First of all, I just wanted to say that 8 years of hard work to get to this moment, and I particularly wanted to mention that Chair Dutton has worked with me on this. Previous boards, select people, many people have worked to get to this day where we closed the sale of the seminary with Chinburg Properties. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, and it's kind of a little bit of a celebration, but of course, we're a bureaucracy, so Matt has to read a long, boring document so that you can agree to allow Chair Dutton to sign it. Sorry, but just thank you to everyone that's been involved from beginning to end, and especially just wanted to mention Ellie Alessio. Ellie was a huge hand. When I first started working here, we really forged a relationship and recognized the historic nature of the seminary building and worked really hard to find someone who could take it over and manage it and handle the complex nature of a historic building that needed that level of renovation. And so I just wanted to say that Ellie worked really hard, and I'm really thankful for her hard work. So thank you, everyone.
All right. So yeah, as Superintendent Ambrose said, based on the purchase and sales agreement between the district and Chinburn Properties, the final paperwork for the sale of seminary and property needs to be signed tonight. Chinburn Properties has made the final payment, which is actually with interest $202,527.52, and that's being held in escrow until Chair Dutton signs the discharge of mortgage and the mortgage payoff documents. So before I ask Chair Dutton to sign the document, I need to read a resolution that the board will vote on. So it's really the resolution is Dr. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it still says, we have to just edit the bottom because it says Donna Dutton. It needs to say Donna Dutton. We had that updated.
Yeah, let's update it.
I don't know. The one in my file doesn't say.
Yeah, the one that you sign will be.
So the first one says Dawn. The second one says Donna.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
The mortgage payoff statement says Donna, but the one above it.
Right.
Do you prefer Donna?
It is not ever Donna.
Oh, okay.
That was almost me.
Yeah.
It is not ever Donna.
Picked up a cookie.
Ever.
And then the other document connected
Yeah.
with the Donna
Yeah.
Dutton one says Don Sutton.
Oh, well, there you
We
go.
fixed both, but somehow both got
A lot of
the correct ones are in there.
Have a lot of different names.
We will make sure that whatever you sign
Yeah.
has the correct name.
Okay.
Though for catching it.
So I need the board to vote on the following resolution, which I will read. Whereas at the March 10th, 2020 annual school board election, warrant Article 6 authorized the sale of the seminary building and adjacent property upon certain conditions by a vote of 1,783 in favor to 666 against. And whereas a purchase and sale agreement was negotiated and signed by the school district on May 19th, 2020. And whereas the closing and transfer of the seminary building and adjacent property occurred on December 16th, 2021, which included a note and mortgage and security agreement from the purchased Major Sanborn Seminary LLC to the Sanborn Regional School District for $180,000 dated December 16th, 2021, which mortgage and security agreement was recorded in the Rockingham County Registry of Deeds on December 17th, 2021 at book 6,365, page 2,258. And whereas Major Sanborn Seminary LLC has completed payment of the obligation to the Sanborn Regional School District and requested a discharge of mortgage and security agreement. Now therefore, the school board of the Sanborn Regional School District hereby authorizes its chair, Don Dutton, to execute a discharge of mortgage and security agreement and any other necessary documents to acknowledge that the obligation has been paid in full. That's what I need you all to vote on, and
So a motion,
I make a motion to approve that resolution. Second.
any comments? All in favor? Unanimous.
let's make sure you have the right one, Don, because there's two copies.
I have the right one to sign.
You're not Donna Sutton.
Yeah. That one won't fly.
I just
Um,
texted Eric, so I'll let him know.
Review and adoption of warrant articles 2025, 26.
Change. Oh, you do have the correct. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I don't know what. Yeah, we have the correct ones here, Don.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't know you had it here.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's wrong in my folder. Thank you.
That's just weird. Yeah.
All right, so warrant articles. That first,
Yep. So for the warrant articles, you'll get to hear me read through these as well. But after the third warrant article, I'll pause just for discussion and questions and anything else. So literally, we'll read through the 2025 school district warrant. Article 1, to elect the following school district officers. School board, 1 member from Kingston for 3 years, 1 member from Newton for 3 years. Moderator, 1 elected for 1 year. Budget committee, 1 member from Kingston for 3 years, 1 member from Newton for 3 years, 1 member at large from Newton/Kingston for 3 years. That was Article 1. Article 2, general acceptance of reports. Shall the reports of the district agents, auditors, committees, or officers chosen be accepted and placed on file? Article 3, operating budget, and I will pause after this one. Shall the shall the Sanborn Regional School District raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amounts set forth on the budget posted with a warrant or as amended by the vote at the first session for the purposes set forth therein, totaling $40,322,601. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $40,342,404, the same as last year, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the Sanborn Regional School District or by law, or the governing body may hold 1 special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13, 10, and 16 to take up the issue of revising operating budget only. This warrant does not include appropriations in any other warrant article. This warrant article was recommended by the Budget Committee with 4 in favor and 2 opposed. The next line has to do with whether or not it's recommended by the school board, which we will get to later. In terms of the tax impact, operating budget estimated tax impact for Kingston, 94 cents per $1,000. For Newton, 54 cents per $1,000. For the default budget, the estimated tax impact for Kingston is 95 cents per $1,000, and for Newton, it's 55 cents per $1,000. And I'll make one quick comment before I open up for discussion. Since the budget presentation in November, we got the state adequacy aid for FY26, and it was decreased from the current year. We also received Newton's final tax rate, which we did not have at the time that we developed a budget, and some other revenues had to be adjusted as well. And I just know this has come up in the past. These estimates also don't include some key things like, surplus budget that we're going to return to the taxpayers each year. So it's really, kind of a worst case scenario, if you will. And there's a number of revenues that would be in there that just aren't, because it's, again, be kind of like the worst case option if everything goes poorly. Which it's not right now, I'm happy to say. I've updated finance earlier.
Which it hasn't in the
Has
last
not.
number of years.
Right, yeah. We've returned Last year, 1.4 million.
Yeah.
Year before, I believe, I wasn't here, but I mean, I was here, but not as a business administrator. It was 600,000 or 700,000.
Mhm.
I feel like this is a silly question, but I thought Newton had a higher tax rate than Kingston.
Now that the bond's off, they have a lot fewer kids. So it had to do with the bond being taken off. This will be the first budget with no
I was curious about that too, because
Yeah.
I've never seen Newton.
Yeah, it's normally
Right.
the other way.
yeah.
It has
And
to
there-
do with the apportionment is the term, and it's the way that the district is weighted based on the number of students and the percentages. It's very complicated.
Newton kids and Kingston kids.
Mhm. It's more than that, but that's the basic gist of it.
That seems like a pretty.
The apportionment,
Right.
which I only had to deal with once for a short period of time because literally my first month in the job, we paid the last bond payment, but it was really based on the rate of decrease. And I think it was also, I'm going to get this wrong, but I think Kingston had a greater rate of decrease. I forget what it had to do with the rate of decrease, in which town was losing students at a faster rate. That benefited Newton. No, sorry, it benefited Kingston at the time.
Mhm.
But now that the bond is out of the picture, it's just strictly numbers. And
Yeah.
Kingston has more kids.
Okay.
And this will, so didn't we have people staying sadly on here too?
Yes, yes, one. Last year, because I looked at last year's, it was 4-2, and the one abstention wasn't in there. So, and we also had one BudCom member who was absent.
I just didn't know
So-
if we had to put the abstention.
I think you do.
Because
Do it.
it looks like.
Yep.
if
Think you
have
do.
6 Pass.
Yep.
0
Yeah.
opposed.
You
you're
have
the
to,
7th board member.
you have to have all, even if they abstain.
Yeah,
We
unless
did-
they
Pretty
physically,
sure you do.
yeah, I know one time we just had somebody that wasn't here, so we couldn't account for them because they didn't
Yeah.
vote at all.
Thank you. Yes, that would be my understanding as well. Jim will be here later, so he can definitely answer, but I think we need to add that one extension to FudCom. And the board is now voting on the warrant article, so you have an opportunity to revote sort of on the budget, but we had one abstention in this.
Right.
When they voted, and I think that was Ken, and so that would be reflected as well. It's fine.
So do we need to hold for Micah to get here so we can do a full vote because he's not here?
I think we should. We could read them all and then vote. Micah gets you.
Do we want to take and deal with 1 and 2 right now? Or that, just do those? how about-
Historically, you haven't done anything with 1 and 2. I know I went back and
That's
looked at
right. Yeah, we
last
don't have
year.
to.
One, there's.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we only have to vote on the operating budget.
No, do we have to accept 1 and 2 as written?
You didn't last year
Okay, thank you.
because I actually went back to double check.
Perfect. All right.
Those
I
are
just-
kind of like, we don't have.
They're pretty standard, but I just wanted to make sure we don't drop the ball and then have to have some sort of special meeting to
Yes, please.
take a,
Or Christmas is bad enough.
I'm all set. All right.
And Micah is on the BudCom, so he's.
Yeah.
So we could move along and read through additional warrant articles, or I could take additional questions on the warrant article 3.
I think that we can. This is a
Do
little
we
bit
want to
tricky.
bump up the NECC?
I have
Yeah.
I have a dumb question.
Thanks, Rick.
For it.
Um,
No dumb questions, right?
The first portion has a question mark after the 40,000. Like we're asking, like, should you?
Mhm.
And the second one doesn't. I still go.
That's because
No, it
you're
says
not
it
asking,
because
that's what's
it's
adopted.
saying if it's defeated, it's a
I
statement.
got you. See, so what's
Great.
done? Thank you.
No, it's fine. It was good. That was a good question. I'm gonna clarify and make sure.
Let's move on. Thank you. Thank you, Donna.
You want to see me jump across the table?
Rick, I'm just gonna give you some friendly advice.
Not tonight.
Uh,
Oh, do we want to,
The NCC update.
Maybe
NECC?
we should do that.
I'm just thinking we.
Yeah,
do that.
we've only got a few minutes
Yeah,
until Mike. gets
that's
here,
fine.
but I
So-
think he's gonna vote on them.
He should,
Read them,
yeah.
and you know what I mean?
Yep.
it's a pretty important binding vote. So I would like him to be fully.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so we will, sounds like the board is on board with moving to the NECC update. So it's a really quick and simple update. Jen and Nicole have, I've said before, they've been working extremely hard, to kind of really figure out everything that's happened in the past with NECC and make sure that everything is truly in alignment. And they have been working directly with the president over at NECC to make sure that all the information is accurate. And so in doing that, they have updated their early college program handbook, which has the current rate per credit. It has all of the specifications about, you can take classes in person, you can take classes online, what that looks like. If you take the classes in person, you can only attend the early college program classes. You cannot attend just any class at NECC. It has to be a specific early college because that only has high school students in it. And it is taught by teachers that have extra certification to teach high school students at college level. If you take the online classes, because you are not interacting directly with the other students, you can take those online. You can take any of their classes. You have access to any of their classes online, which is really, I mean, it's great. My daughter has done it, and she's gotten a ton out of those. So those are a couple of things that are, have been really clarified in here about how that works. Another thing that has been clarified is that, I think I'd already said they have dedicated teachers for those in-person classes. But they also clarified how the grading gets sent to the school, because that's a big piece when you're trying to make sure your grades go to the school. If you're part of an early college program class, the teachers send midterm reports to the school and the final grades to the school. If you are part of the online classes, the students have to request a transcript like any typical college student would have to, that is trying to get their grades uploaded to. But it's super simple. They use Blackboard for everything. And there's a little tab right on the side that says request a transcript. So it's not I haven't officially done it yet, but it seems like it's a very easy process because it is literally right there on the home screen of every college student's, or every Northern Essex student's, homepage. So, and at this point, I mean, the nice things are there are very clear-cut expectations for the students. And Jen and Nicole have done a very good job, and I'll make sure that this goes out to all of you to look at. They've done a really great job of taking all of the Northern Essex College expectations for behavior, for grades, for attendance. It is all very clear-cut. There's no confusion about what the expectations are. You don't meet Northern Essex's expectations, you're out the door. It's not a Sanborn decision. It is a Northern Essex decision. I mean, you just basically have to show up and do the work. So, and if you're taking a college class and you're paying for a college class, that's kind of the expectation anyways, I'm assuming from the parents who are paying for the classes. So, it's great. Let's see what else is in here.
It's very well done.
Yeah. Do you see it?
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay, great. So, and then, Jen and Nicole also have, expectations for students at the high school. What that's all going to be. We do as a board need to talk about the transport or the, I guess you call it transportation. I have to look up the exact policy letters. But we have a policy that says that a student cannot transport themselves to an athletic event or anything without permission from the superintendent. When you're talking about students that are attending NECC and their classes go until 2:00 and they're supposed to be catching a bus at 1:30, the staff, the NECC staff, if the students are taking them in person, are not consistently allowing them to leave early,
Mhm.
which there's supposed to be some grace for that, but it seems like, so the students, we need to just adapt the policy to allow the students to be able to drive in Essex to the game, match, whatever it is, with their parents' permission and the superintendent's permission. And what Jen, Tom, and I have all kind of talked about is doing it per season, because there's probably only going to be a couple of games where that might happen, but just setting it up so it's very clear. There's an application. Jen was talking about creating a Google Doc that the parents, have to fill out to request, for that permission to be granted. They're giving their permission for the student to do the driving, asking the school to give their permission as well, and that will allow the student to drive. Make it a little bit easier for those students. We have a lot of student athletes that do those early college classes. And the other part of the policy that we have to look at is, do we want to allow more than one student in a vehicle with both parents consenting to it? Because now that we're transitioning to D3 in most of our sports, a lot of the games are about an hour and a half away. And that is a very long drive for sometimes very new drivers, because they're just turned 16. So sometimes it makes sense to have a second set of eyes in the vehicle if both parents feel it is safe and appropriate. So we need to look at that as well and have a discussion about that as a board. So those are just a couple of things that we need to look at. But I mean, everything that Jen and Nicole have done here is great. It just continues a very strong partnership that we have with NECC. I think it's Jen and Nicole, I believe, are having their next NECC information night in January. So they really wanted to get this set and ready to go. And they wanted us to all just kind of take a look at it. They don't really need like a, check mark but next to it from us. They don't need, us to sign off on it, but they did want us to, what they've been working hard on and exactly what that relationship looks like and what the expectations are for the students. So we're very clear on that. So I just want to thank Jen and Nicole a tremendous amount, because they really have done a lot. Everything was kind of in 100 different places from previous people being in charge of this. There are multiple people that kind of handled it before. And so they've done a great job of pulling it all together and making everything clear and concise. And I think it's going to be successful for our students. Hopefully it will encourage more students to participate in these classes that want to, because it's now very, very clear how everything works. So that was my update.
Just.
Yeah.
Something quick.
Yeah.
Just because I've been looking.
Yeah.
And I have it up here on the website, but New Hampshire law, isn't it that kids under the age of 20 can't have other kids in the car?
You can have one other person in the car with you that is not a family member
Over the age of 25.
after 6 months of driving.
Yeah, I would just, let's make sure we're just in,
Yeah, it is.
okay.
Yeah, after 6 months, they are allowed to have before 6 months, they're
Before
allowed
6 months.
a
they can only have
person.
One person.
They can have one person. After 6 months, they can have as many as they want. So
Free for all.
After 6 months.
Yeah.
After 6 months, they can have as many as they want that are not related to them.
All right.
Before 6 months, until the 6 month mark, they can have one non-related person in the car.
So any policy we put in place.
Yep. And it would require, our policy would also require both parents to sign off on more than one student riding together. And I don't think I would recommend putting multiple students in a car. I think two, you're okay. You start talking 4, that's just a distraction and that's a party.
Well, I think it's
Yeah.
important. It's important to Rick's point, just to help
Yeah.
with this. The law trumps the policy.
Correct.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if the student is not eligible to have other students riding in the vehicle with them because of restrictions on their license. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yep.
any permission we give should be.
It should be consistent.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
But just in case some document out there in space isn't, it really doesn't change that. In Maine, it's a year.
Right.
And it's none.
Right.
So my son just got his license 2 weeks ago. He cannot drive anyone but family.
Right.
For a year.
Yep.
And the nighttime thing too, I think there's some restriction
There
after a
is.
certain.
Yeah, and there are now in New Hampshire, there's some too.
Nighttime driving.
Yeah, but it is
Relate.
different. So
Yeah, we just, that's fine.
Yep,
safety.
that's good.
Well, thank you for the update, Don.
Yeah.
And thank you to Jen and Nicole on this.
Yeah, they've worked extremely hard on this and they've really tightened up a lot of the language. It's really good.
Don, do we know how many kids, how many students we have roughly right now that are participating in this? Just roughly.
You know what? I forgot to ask her, but isn't it? Well, she did a presentation not long ago.
If we don't know, that's okay. I'm just,
Is it around?
that's okay.
Yeah, I feel like it was somewhere between 35 and 40 last year participated.
That sounds familiar.
I feel like last year.
We had 20.
Yeah, which makes sense with the 35 to 40 in the course of a year.
Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, but we can get that number.
I think it's important to note that this is kind of a part of the potential vision of the future for Sanborn is for students to have the opportunity to participate in dual enrollment courses. And we've had some students come very close or actually obtaining an associate's degree before leaving high school.
Mhm.
That is the future.
Yeah.
Right? There's no if you're doing the work and you can get credit and move forward, then let's help people move forward. And so it also helps for first-time college attendance for folks who are first-generation college students like myself. If you take some college courses and you do well with them, especially if you go to the campus, because going to the campus and experiencing the in-person instruction on campus is really important to building that bridge to efficacy, to believing that you can do it. So I think that this is a really important, I just wanted to thank Dawn. She's worked really hard on this, and Jen and Nicole, because this really is, when we talk about the future of education, it really is, dual enrollment is a big part of it, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy about this.
State
It's a
of
step in the right
The
direction.
state of Massachusetts has now made NECC free for associates.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maine
We're
did
in
the
the state.
community call.
State, yeah.
Friend state, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It won't, I mean, honestly, we won't like affect it, but I do know, like, as you said, it is the future. There are many schools seeing that this is the way that people are going and they're making it more accessible.
And one thing that had been brought up before, and we'll have to look into it more, was because we weren't sure, because basically what it was is they were saying if you attend NECC in high school as part of the early college program, you would be able to go and finish it for free. We just have to make sure that applies to, see if that applies to our students, because we are New Hampshire students. So that's something that we can look into, or we
That's
will
right.
be looking into as well. Because that would be another great pathway for, students.
Do we collaborate on the curriculum or is it set out by NECC?
That is set out by NECC. Yep. We do not. It is their curriculum. Yeah, we have no control over that one.
It'd be interesting to have a conversation because we've talked about declining enrollment in certain advanced classes like calculus, let's say, for example. It'd be interesting if somehow we could collaborate with NECC. If we only have 4 or 6 kids in calculus, a full-time staff to teach 4 or 6 kids, but maybe collaborating with NECC.
And they do. They have calculus, they have trig, they have statistics, they have all sorts of courses. You can go right onto their website and you can pull up every class that they have. It's really easy. And you can go in and you can filter it by online classes. You can filter it by in-person classes. You can filter it by semester. You can kind of look at everything. You can filter it by, specific, math classes, psychology classes, whatever you want, criminal justice classes. And you can see everything that they offer. And just because they don't offer it for, one semester doesn't mean it isn't offered in another semester. So you can also look that way too.
They do have electives, so I imagine it's whatever's in their entire math program. The kids could choose from.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
I think, oh,
No, I was gonna say, and the students have to, in order to be part of this early college program, they have to pass a writing and math test to be accepted. So they are, they're students that are capable of doing that work because they've passed the classes to get there. So that's nice too.
so I'll just mention to that point, I spoke to Principal Mitchison this morning, and I'm sure she'll talk to us a lot more about this in the next 3 years as we get smaller and the students from Fremont start to leave the district, the ability to offer advanced placement courses will diminish because we won't have enough students to run the sections. So some of our advanced placement courses are very small enrollments right now, 6, 8 kids for those advanced classes. So as we have less students, we'll be able to offer these types of, I just wanted to echo that just this morning I had a conversation with her, the principal, about this very issue, and that this is the future for those kids. If they want to take those courses, we'll find ways to do it. But what we're not going to do is we're going to try to find a way to meet those kids' needs because it's really important. So it's balancing, right? If you don't have enough students and you can't run course sections, then what other avenues are there? And this would be a big one.
Okey-dokey.
All right, we can go back to the warrant
Go
articles.
back to the fun warrant. Ooh. Of 1, 2, and 3 were fabulously fun.
Yep.
We were holding for you, because we want final vote on the operating budget. So now that you're here, we can,
Just reread that for.
do you
I
want,
don't mind. I'm familiar with it.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a question there before we vote on that one?
absolutely.
So there might be people watching this meeting, and I think it's important to note if they listen to the earlier reading of the article, that the proposed operating budget is actually slightly less than the default budget. And so that might become a question for people as to, wait, how is that possible with the status of the economy, increasing costs, things like that. So rather than just skim over that, Mr. Miller, would you mind just explaining to the public who's listening?
Yeah, I mean, a good deal of what's in both budgets are identical because it's contractual. The busing is identical, transportation, health insurance, and which is a huge driver, salaries, any of the CBAs. So a large percentage of both budgets are identical. And then really what it comes down to is, Dr. Ambrose and the administrators working with the directors and staff to identify our needs. And again, unfortunately, because we have had declining enrollments for a variety of reasons. But there were, I could go into specifics, but I won't. There were some positions that were not filled. I don't know if we didn't really necessarily eliminate some, but maybe we kept a dollar on the line. But so that was some savings. We also had some savings in the proposed budget, the operating budget. We got savings with even like the new electricity contract. I get the dollar amount, but we reviewed it in finance, and I think our electricity rate is about 1/4 of last year's. So that was significant. That may have been $80,000 to $100,000 just in electricity savings. Something similar happened with fuel oil. We got a much better rate on fuel oil this year. So there are a lot of little things we did that allowed the operating budget to come in below the default, but a large chunk of both budgets are identical.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I think in addition to that, it demonstrates the fiscal responsibility of the district, the admin team, and the teams behind putting this together, that we recognize the future, what's happening, where we need to either cut costs or save money, and those avenues are being taken and further explored as we move forward, knowing what's to come for the future. So thank you for your team and all the folks that put that together. So that's how that number is less than the default budget by a slight amount. Thank you, Mr. Muller.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Mike, you did not want to hear Article 3 again? Is that what I heard?
I'm good. If everybody else is good,
Good.
I am familiar with it.
You are on the budget committee, so
I am.
you'll
Is
recognize that.
extremely,
To approve the warrant article or re-voting on the budget.
You have to recommend it as well, because we have to have the
yeah, I think we have to
approve and recommend.
approve and recommend.
Okay.
I'm looking at Jim.
So you're going article by article through the warrant?
Well, we only have the operating budget, and then we have the
Support staff.
support staff, and then
We've already
expendable trust.
voted on, but
Yeah, in January, you're gonna meet, and what are you gonna do with respect to the warrant in January? Just to understand, are you gonna take any votes then?
We don't usually.
Going to sign the attested warrant tonight?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
Is that gonna happen?
That'll happen
All right.
tonight.
That's the plan.
Yes.
So you ought to take a vote on each article, whether you, are in support so that the recommendation of the board is reflected as a notation at the end.
Correct.
Yep.
That makes sense?
All right. Who wants to make that motion?
Well, I think there's a couple of changes that, first we have to make changes to it, right? So you have to add the abstentions in. So,
Yeah, there was one abstention. Yeah.
two.
Well, I think we're going to
Well-
revote. If we revote on it right now, we'll update it with whatever the vote is right now.
Right. So when you make the
There's one
motion,
abstention from the budget committee. correct?
Yes.
Right. Yep.
So that has to be added.
Yep.
Okay.
And
then
what I have in the file doesn't have any of the numbers in it.
Mine doesn't have anything,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
So we think, or whatever we propose to approve.
Yep.
We have to make sure what we're saying. 'Cause
thank you, Rick. You're right.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would make a motion to amend the proposed warrant article to include the abstentions for the board and the BudCom. Vote on that and then vote on adopting.
Okay, so I make a motion to,
Yeah.
Jim scratching
But
his
it-
head.
As written, 2 of them have opposed 0, so if
Well,
we,
They have nothing. That's what I'm saying.
no, I'm looking at it as
no.
opposed 0.
Ken, we're only voting on number 3 right now?
Okay, I thought we were voting on all of them.
No, we're doing number
I
3.
mean, number 3 has nothing.
Jim, help us out here.
Yeah, there's nothing on number 3. You can't vote to approve it.
I agree.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm trying to just make this as easy as possible.
Thank you.
The notation of the budget committee's vote is not something you're voting on.
Perfect.
It is what it is. You're voting on
The article
the
itself.
article itself, so the notation will reflect your vote. The budget committee took its vote. That just gets added to it. And then at the end, you are going to sign the warrant as approved by the board, and that's your attestation.
Okay.
So you just need to go through each article, take a vote so that there's a,
And we only need to take a vote on the articles that have dollars attached to them, correct? Not
Correct.
thank you. Okay. All right.
Can I make a motion to approve and recommend the operating budget Article 3 as stated?
second,
Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, we have Rick, Jeremiah, Maura, Micah, myself, Heather, opposed, abstention. So we have Ken abstained. Thank you. All right. So then we have,
Motion to effect.
okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Do I need to amend that?
Yeah, you're right.
It's the same thing, but just for the next
Okay.
one, just say rec.
it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pro here.
I know. All right. Article 4.
Okay, Article 4 is the support staff collective bargaining agreement. Shall the Sanborn Regional School District approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement for support staff reached between the school board and the Sanborn Regional Education Association, which calls for the following increases in salaries and benefits at current staffing levels. For the 2025-26 school year, $178,140. For the 2026-27 school year, $108,116. And for the 2027-28 school year, $114,000 and $114 and $145. Sorry. And further to raise and appropriate the sum of $178,140 for the 2025-26, such sum representing the additional costs attributed to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those at the current staffing levels. The Budget Committee has not seen or had an opportunity to recommend this. That's why it's not completed. The estimated tax impact for Kingston is 7 cents per $1,000, and for Newton is 12 cents per $1,000.
Why is it reversed there? Like, why is Newton higher here and it's not in the other one?
Let me check my calculation.
Bond.
Complicated.
Oh, I thought it was because of the bond.
Yeah, but Newton is higher here.
right.
I know, but the bond didn't come off of the bargaining agreement. The
Salaries.
bond came off the budget.
Yeah, but it's based upon the number of students.
Good question. Yeah, let me just double check here, Rick. I got it right here.
Well, he double checks that. We want to, I can read Article 5. Because we don't have to make a recommendation on that one. Shall the Sanborn Regional School District, if Article 4 is defeated, authorize the governing body to call one special meeting at its option to address Article 4 cost items? I guess we do have to recommend that one, don't we? All right, that'll be next. Or does somebody want to do that right now?
I'll make a motion to recommend our.
Second.
All right,
Sorry.
any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Can't do
Number 6.
Six is. Yeah, I guess we can do 6. Special Education Expendable Trust Fund. Shall the Sanborn Regional School District vote to raise and appropriate up to $250,000 to be placed in the Special Education Expendable Trust Fund previously established? This sum would come from June 30 fund balance available for transfer on July 1 instead of returning the money to the community to offset taxes. No amount to be raised from taxation.
I make a motion to recommend Article 6, special education.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Yeah.
Yes. So there's been a lot of recent articles in the media, especially here in New Hampshire, about special education,
Lack
the
of
cost, the lack of, yes. And so as we look at the future of special education and the cost,
Yeah.
and I have been a proponent, and the voting record will show I've been a proponent of not growing that fund any more than we needed to because we've never expended it. And so as a member on the BudCom and as a taxpayer here, I've never wanted to just continue to throw money into a slush fund for no reason when we've never used it. And I don't think that's wise.
Right.
This year has changed, and the future of special education has changed. And for the first time, I will be in favor of adding to that, seeing what's coming for special education and the lack of funding that we will receive from the state, a drastic reduction in the funding we will receive from the state. And there's no plan of the state looking at that for at least 1 year as they kind of see how this plays out. So to be smart for this district, we're either going to end with an emergency and have to pull that out of something for kids, or we will plan for that now and be prepared for it. That's my statement. Thank you.
Can we add a word like no amount to be raised from additional taxation?
Jim?
Yeah, what's the phrasing right now again?
There's no amount
Oh,
to
it's in
be
there.
raised from taxation.
Yeah, but the funds come from taxes.
Yeah, what's prior to that sentence? Isn't there?
It says this sum would come from June 30 fund balance available to transfer on July 1 instead of returning the money to the community to
Yeah, okay.
offset taxes.
No, that's old language that like the DR, just background. Yes, you can do that. The DRA standard language does not have the instead language. That's a Sanborn thing.
Okay.
To kind of explain to the voters what it means. The no amount to come from taxation part just means you're not reappropriating from taxes, but you can add no additional taxation. You can add that clause there.
It's just,
I feel like it's an important ad.
I've never agreed with this.
Yeah, I like it. I like the ad.
Yeah.
So it would say no amount to be raised from addition.
Would you like to amend?
Oh, was there a motion?
Yes.
There was a motion.
Oh,
It's okay.
So if you want to make an amendment, if you want.
I'll make an amendment to approve Article 6 with the addition of the final sentence saying no amount to be raised from additional tax.
I have,
Second.
thank you. All right, any further discussion
On the amendment.
on the amendment? All right, all in favor
The amendment.
of the amendment? Thank you. Unanimous. Okay.
Now we have to,
Yeah, vote on the
now we have to
motion.
vote on it. Right.
Oh, right. Okay. So yes, we've made the amendment. Now we have to vote on the motion.
Recommend the amended.
I make a motion to recommend the amended
Article.
article,
Six.
Article 6.
Article 6.
Thank you.
Second.
Maura got that.
Phyllis, you can fight that. one.
That's Maura. That's Maura.
All right. All in favor?
Thank you.
Unanimous. Thank you.
And then we're going back.
So yeah, so really the spreadsheet that calculates tax impact, really all you do when it comes to something like a negotiation is you take the spreadsheet, you copy it, and you strip everything out. You strip out all your revenues, you strip out adequacy, and you just put in whatever the negotiation is, and then it applies it. So I'm not seeing
Because
this
this
short
is the-
window of time. I'm not like
Right.
I'm not seeing if there's an error in
Because
here.
this isn't about a cost per student, so that is then evenly appropriated based on enrollment. This is just about a straight up cost to the district that is evenly shared. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
It would make sense in the inverse that Newton has fewer kids, so Newton.
All right, I'm just looking at some notes I have here.
That's not the, I don't think that that's purely how the calculation is made. Just on number of
There-
kids. There's a lot of, if I remember from my discussions with Matt Angel,
Yes, there is a
it's a very complex formula that determines what that.
yeah, and there's a statement in here because I did review some of this, actually with Matt, and did have a comment here about the difference in tax rate due to the 5-year ADM because Kingston's population is decreasing faster than Newton's. It's a 1-year problem because the bond will be. Oh, I don't know.
So Micah, you missed the first part of this
I
conversation.
apologize.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So in Article 3, Rick and I both noted that for the first time, the tax impact to Kingston residents was almost twice the impact to Newton.
Mhm.
So he was like, "Oh, how did we?" It's normally the other way around, right? So now the next article, it's swapped. So that's where the question came: how is it that it's more for one article and then the other article it's swapped?
The budget is based on the number of students.
Right. So again, the spreadsheets are identical. They literally are copied.
Yep.
And you're just stripping out everything. You're stripping right down the bare bones and just putting in that negotiation with just the towns, ADMs, and
Yeah.
If that needs to be adjusted, Jim, is there an opportunity to do that before the warrant is published?
Jim's doing his homework. You can see his
Yeah.
wheels spinning right now.
Yeah.
So this to me, this is like the same thing as the recommendation. Like these are the notations that accompany the warrant articles. So you can, the hard part is the attested warrant. And what I'm trying to figure out is, can you sign an attested warrant right now that doesn't have the correct notations in there?
I don't think you can.
The answer to me is no. Part of what's happening here is you guys are super ahead of the game on when you're like trying to get this all done.
Signing like an incomplete document.
Yeah. So like I was trying to figure out if there's a way to do it. Like you need to have an accurate reflection of the recommended vote and the estimated tax impact when you're signing and attesting the warrant. So if you're planning on signing and attesting tonight, you've got to get that figured out before you do it. Or by the way, you don't have to do that after a meeting. This is a convenience thing. You can vote to approve the form of the warrant and then come to the SAU and sign it. It doesn't
So we
all
can
have to
drive
be,
around and get signatures.
like, it doesn't all have to be done tonight. This is a
Oh,
convenience.
Preferably not on Christmas.
Yeah. let's
Yeah.
not
And
do
this
that.
can be done in January.
Christmas Day.
You don't have to have this done like by January 1. Like you're just really ahead of the game. And
I just want to make sure there's not an error in that
I
one
agree,
because it was
yeah.
copied. It was copied. It was a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I created a new spreadsheet.
I think we
and
just need clarification.
yeah.
Yeah.
If we sign it before the next meeting, then we will clarify it to the public.
so, yeah.
So we can recommend the article.
Yeah.
And just wait for the updated tax
Yes.
impact.
So vote on the article,
Yeah.
So that can be there,
Yep.
and then he'll correct the notation. The warrant will be finalized. I can look at it with Matt too. Tom can look at it, and then you'll be notified when to come in and sign, and that all has to be done. There's a deadline in the statute, but it'll
Okay.
get done before
Perfect.
that deadline.
You have to do this.
Let's do that.
At like,
Yeah, I remember doing
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
I'd drive over to Dawn.
Yep.
That's how I got to see Dawn's work.
Yep.
Over and-
Okay.
I make a motion to recommend Article 4, support staff collective bargaining as written.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Fabulous.
Thank you for supporting the paraprofessionals and the support staff.
Thank, yeah, I think that's all. So we.
Just the
will-
default, that paperwork for the default budget. Just, if you already mentioned it, because I was looking at the calculation, I apologize, but the item 6 on the agenda,
We're all done,
you done?
all done.
Okay, all done.
Yep.
You got it. Sorry.
Took care of it.
Okay.
No, we were trying to be efficient.
That's just paperwork for the DRA. So,
Yep.
okay, cool.
Oh, wait. Oh, you mean FY26 I thought you meant,
No, yeah.
no, we didn't do that one yet.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think we did.
Which
I thought you were talking about Article
isn't
6 on here,
Yeah.
really
not agenda number 6.
an item. It's just before you leave, you need to print, sign, and date that paperwork for the Department of Revenue. It just has, I have to upload it to the portal.
You need everyone here to sign it.
We're all doing that. We're all signing the same paper.
Yeah, we all have to sign it.
It should be in your packet.
Someone have the printed copy? Phyllis?
Should have the.
Should be,
Yep.
it's like MS.
SDSB
Yep,
2025.
DSP.
Yep.
Just to be clear, the deadline for posting the final warrant budget is the last Monday in January.
So
So
we're fine.
yeah, you're really good.
Oh,
So
great.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're a bunch of
Thank you.
overachievers.
We're
Saying that, Jim.
overachievers.
That we're really good.
We
That's
appreciate
on,
You may be.
on record.
You can have one cookie.
Had him.
Cookie now.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Just one though, just one.
Okay, so. Oh, thank you. Perfect.
Thank you, Phyllis.
So we just need to sign it. We don't need to vote on it.
No, because you've already voted on it.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
just print, sign, date, or something like that.
Thank you, Matt.
Sick.
Sure. Second public comment.
Yeah, second public comment. If there is no public comment, next Sanborn Regional School Board meeting will be a tentative meeting to discuss petition warrant articles held on Wednesday, January 15th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the library at the wait, is that right? Is it at the library? Okay. Sanborn Regional School District. Sanborn Regional School Board will meet on Wednesday, January 22nd at 6 p.m. The regular meeting agenda. And the next Sanborn Regional Budget Committee meeting will be held on Thursday, January 9th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the library at the Sanborn Regional High School. Did I say school district before? Yeah, they say school district. They say high school. It's high school.
That's cool.
The libraries at the high school are where I'm.
Yes.
I was reading and then I caught that last one.
Yeah.
So oh, and then hold on, we got one more, second page. The filing period for positions on the Sanborn Regional School Board, the Sanborn Regional Budget Committee, and the district moderator will open on Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025, and end on Friday, January 31st, 2025 at 5 p.m. The candidate filing forms may be obtained at the SAU office from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. located at the Christie Building at 51 Church Street in Kingston. The school district clerk will be available on the last day to file until 5 p.m. So every day between January 22nd and January 30th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And on the last day, the 31st, until 5 p.m. And Phyllis, lock the doors at 5 and go home. someone like to bring us into non-public?
I don't think we're going into non,
Oh, we are not. We're going
non-public.
non,
But
No.
during the meeting.
okay, so we have to go into a non-meeting. Is that what it is?
Recess,
Okay.
and be in a one meeting and then come back.
Okay,
Thank you, Jim.
and there are no other agenda items after that, so hopefully we'll just get to adjourn when we come back from recess.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for coming.